Hi guys, how are you? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Priscilla and I make YouTube videos about travel, career, lifestyle and just navigating life in your 30s. So today I thought I'd come and share a video on just dating, how to date in your 30s, because I feel like you guys know what time it is. It's always red wine in this house. So I feel like there's just dating in your dating now is a bit different from dating in your 20s. It's because I don't know, like now you in your 30s, I feel like for me at least, you are more aware, you have found more, like you have sort of not completely done the work, but you know your triggers, you sort of know yourself a little bit more than when you are in your 20s. So I feel like that also brings in a different dynamic. But also dating in your 30s is really different because also the people that you're meeting are different from people in your 20s. Dating in your 20s sometimes seems just for fun. You're at university, you just getting to know people. But dating in your 30s sometimes comes with a sense of urgency. You know, the biological clock is ticking, everyone is reminding you about it, and everywhere you're turning, your colleagues are getting married. And so sometimes it may sometimes you may not date for fun. There's a sense of urgency that sometimes comes with dating in your 30s. But also we know, at least I know, that the dating scene has changed a lot. One, we are in a pandemic, so it's not easy to meet people. Before you'd go out, people would approach you and stuff like that. Now that's not the case. Like most people are in-house, it's lockdown and stuff like that. But also there's just so many phases to dating now. Like, I remember I got full. So I had to go and delete some stuff. Anyway, so I was saying that I feel like dating in your 30s, not even just in your 30s, but dating these days seems to have so many steps. Like, there's that talking stage. Then there is I don't know how to date, honestly. I won't even lie, because I just feel like, okay, what are we doing now? Are we talking? Are we like, what is it? Like, a man will call you, be like, and I'm like, tukolachi, like, tulikuchi, like. Anyway, yeah. So I find that it's not so easy to navigate dating in your 30s. So I'm going to share, I think there's 7. there are 8 of them. If you don't know, I've been engaged before, so you should go and watch, I think, one of my very first videos on this YouTube channel that I made, and the lessons that I learned from that experience, amazing experience. And yeah, so I just want to share some of the things that I feel like have helped me. I'm not a relationship guru, neither am I a dating expert, but I'm actively dating. I mean, the dating scene, I mean, the streets, I mean, the war zone, because man, dating these days is Masasi, Filimuya Masasi. Anyway, so I wanted to share 8 things that I feel are some things that I feel like can guide you as you are navigating dating in your 30s. It's a beautiful space, but it can also be pretty confusing, pretty discouraging, especially if you want a lifelong partnership and stuff like that. So anyway, I'll jump right into it. So I have them here on my phone, as usual, written them down. So my first one is, I hope you guys are not, there's some noise outside, so I hope it's not being picked up by the microphone. But anyway, so my first one is, I think it's very good to know your values. I think that in your 30s, it's nice to ask yourself what your value system is and what you value, and also seek to maximize that value. I think that there's no shame and there's no harm, and you shouldn't be ashamed in what you value in a partner, and what you think matters to you. So I know that there's been a stigma around women saying they want men with money, and but men always voice how they want a woman who's beautiful, who's curvy, who has a big bum, who has all these things. So I don't think that you as a woman, if that is what you want in a partner, I don't think you should feel ashamed about saying, look, I want a man with a certain kind of means, or I want a man with, like, it's fine, because I think men have been doing this for the longest time. Like, honestly, guys will tell you, me, I can't date a short woman, I can't date a woman who has a big nose. And, like, they have all these expectations and they are not ashamed about them. So I think it's just knowing your values. What are your values? What's your value system? Do you value, like, you know, is it character over material stuff? Is it material stuff over character? Personally, I think, I mean, sometimes material stuff really can come after. Of course, you won't marry a man who is not, like, you know, able to provide or able to meet you at your level or something. But I think that sometimes character, you know, trumps all those things. So it's just knowing what is your value system. Is it you can't be with a man who's from a different faith? Is it you can't be with a man who won't respect you? Like, what is your value system, you know? So I think it's nice in your 30s to define that, because if you don't, you will end up finding yourself in situationships, in relationships, in entanglements, in whatever, and you're like, what am I doing here exactly? And I mean, all of us have been there. Like, you find yourself and you're like, and you pack your bags and go, because you know that, you know what, this person doesn't align with your value system. And it only comes when you know what your value system is, because if you don't, you'll settle for anything that comes your way. Because trust me, the pressure will be like, oh my god, your biological clock is ticking, your eggs are going every period that you have, those are children, you know. So if you don't know your value system, you end up just saying, you know what, Tom, tugende, like, let us just do this thing, and then 1 year down the road, you're like, what did I do? So yeah, I think it's good to know your value system, and don't be ashamed about it. But also, secondly, I think that it's good to be clear on your expectations, you know. And I think especially gender roles. I remember in my past relationship that was something that I was super clear about, like, you know, what I wanted in a relationship, what my expectations were in my partner, you know. And I feel like right now it's very important as a woman in your 30s to know exactly what your expectations are, because there's all this talk of I think it's called hypergamy, where, you know, women are encouraged to date above. And I mean, I have no problem. We all want a man who, you know, who can spoil you, who can be there for you and stuff like that. But also, I think it's just about being realistic, because at the end of the day, if you're going to date a man who's extremely wealthy, who's extremely rich, it also comes with its own cost. Like, I think everything comes with a cost. So I think it's just about counting the cost and knowing that, laying your bed and saying, okay, can I lay in it? Because, like me, my love language is quality time. I want us to spend time with my partner. I want us to talk, to go on holiday. Like, so for me, those are my expectations in a relationship. I want us to spend time together, like to know each other deeply. I don't want just business as usual. But also, that also comes at a cost, because then, you know, if a person is extremely busy, if you're extremely busy, what does that mean for the relationship? And also, if you want for example, most of us say want a man who will buy us, like, you know, we keep joking about it. Oh, you know, who'll buy us like an Hermes bag, or who'll buy you a Range Rover, who'll take you to all these places. And I mean, there's no problem with dreaming big and desiring all those things, but just know that comes at a cost, because a man who can afford those things at probably the time when you meet him, he'll be extremely busy, you know, so he may not have the time for you. And if you want that, so it's just about really being realistic, and also just knowing, you know, what are your expectations. But also, I think it's good to have a conversation around gender roles, guys, because sometimes you meet like these educated men, they've studied all in these fancy universities abroad, they're in all these fancy positions, so you imagine that they're very open-minded, and that's it. So if you don't have that conversation when you're dating or getting to know each other, or in that talking stage, you find out that this guy, probably his expectations of a partner are some things that you really can't measure up. Like, there's people who say they can't eat food that's not cooked by their wives. They want their wives to be stay-at-home mothers. They want their wives to, you know, like, so I think it's good to have all those conversations, especially around gender roles. And I think the question that I always ask people I'm talking to is, like, when someone says, oh, I like respect, I always ask, what does respect look like for you? Because respect and, like, those things are very personal. Like, men will tell you, oh, I want a woman who will respect me. But what is respect? You know, and then when you dig deeper, you'll find that maybe for him, respect is you cooking his traditional food every time, or you feeding him, you know, serving him on a plate, or, like, you know, so you need to know what respect looks like for him, and also you need to tell him what respect looks like for you, so that both of you sort of have that conversation. And I think that expectations are important to clear and sort of have an idea what both of you are getting into. And also, I think then the third thing is, I think it's good to walk the talk. You know, I find that you know, like in and my friend Dr. Nosipo, shout out to you, babe. She sent me a link where Chimamanda was talking about something about her experience with someone on Twitter and stuff, and I was like, that is very true. I think we live in an era where being woke is cool and stuff like that, and sometimes we throw certain words around. I probably have done it myself, I don't know. That day I feel like that should translate into your life. You should walk the talk, you know. So if, like, for example, there's this whole talk of, oh, men need to be vulnerable, need to share their dark moments with us and blah blah blah, okay, and that's really good. Like, I have no problem. I like a man who opens up to me and tells me his fears, his anxieties. Like, I really find that very sexy. But at the same time, I think that sometimes most of us are not really ready for men to be vulnerable, even if we say we want that in a partner. Like, if imagine you're dating a guy and he comes and tells him he's crying, or he tells you he can't face the world anymore. Sometimes most of us, I would say most of us, some people will probably, you feel like he's not man enough because we have an idea of what manhood looks like, of what masculinity should look like. So I feel like, walk the talk, like, you know, be honest with yourself and say, okay, I know this is what popular culture is saying, but is it what I really want? Am I at that stage yet? Because sometimes Twitter may, you know, that I know everyone on Twitter is woke, okay? But in real life, are you that woke? Are you that woke? If you say you want to share a bill 50-50, are you ready for it, or are you saying it because it's what's popular culture saying? So just walk the talk, be honest with yourself and say, okay, me, I want 7-8-30. Or me, I want to be a housewife. Like, be honest with yourself, walk the talk. Don't let popular culture define for you what you want. It's okay to swim against the tide. It's fine. Like, don't be ashamed about it. And then I think the fourth is, where do you find your identity? I think identity is and I think for me that is one of the things that really liberated me and continues to liberate me every other time. Like, where do you find your identity? Is it in the things? Is it in your job? Because I don't want to be defined by my job or my career. That's why I do YouTube. I do all these things. I don't want to be defined by my job. I don't want at the end of the day when I'm dying people say, oh, she was a good lawyer. No, because I'm multifaceted. There's more to me than just that. I'm not just a lawyer. That's not my identity, you know. So where is your identity? Where do you find your identity? So it's good to also know that. And also in a partner, where does that man find his identity? Because if it's in money, like most men do, or in his job, man, life happens. I've been unemployed before. Life happens. Like, you may get retrenched, projects end, things like that. So if that happens and the man finds his identity in his job or in his career and that's taken away, then what happens to him, you know, or in his good looks, or in his athletics, you know, physique. For you, if a woman, maybe in your beauty. So I think it's just good to have those conversations, right? Like, as you're talking, to see, okay, where does he find his identity? Can I put up with it? And also for you to be honest with yourself, you know, like, where do I find my identity? For me, really, it's in God, and it's been such a liberating thing to come to that realization and know that, look, I'm not defined by the worldly stuff. Like, my money does not define me. Every day I keep renewing my mind, like, you know what, I'm a child of God, and that's enough, period. Like, if at the end of the day that's all that happens for me, that should be enough. It's not easy, but we have to try. And then I think the fifth one is, what are your non-negotiables? And be realistic and be honest about them. You know, like, sometimes we say, I want to marry a man who's tall, who's like, I have, like, you know, you have your list, and I have my own non-negotiables. But I think it's just being realistic. Like, you know, you can't want a man who earns 6-figure salaries and you are not even close. Because I find that for you to be able to even have access to such men, you need to also probably be in those, you know, so be realistic. Like, honestly, be realistic. Don't let Instagram fool you. Don't let Twitter or social media fool you. Just be honest with yourself. Be realistic and say, okay, for me, this is what I want. If you don't want to work, it's okay. Like, there's no need for you to be a boss babe. Or, like, if you don't feel like, okay, I mean, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't encourage you to do it, because it's good to have your own money. It's good to have a sense of independence, because, man, it's where someone can easily take advantage of you. But then also that is a journey that you must take for yourself. So like just find what are your non-negotiables and be realistic about them. Don't build. I mean, I'm a dreamer. Trust me, I dream of, you know, when I think the things I dream of, yeah, you guys may, like, I dream, I'm a dreamer. But then also it's good to sometimes to come down to earth and be realistic about your dreams, you know. So yeah. And then the other one is the sixth is, don't run ahead of yourself. I say this to you as I say this to myself. I learned this lesson in 2019. Yeah. If this video gets 1,000 likes, I'll share that story. If you guys hit the thumbs up 1,000 and we get like 1,000 thumbs up, I'll share that story and you guys will hold me accountable. Mama. When I said don't run ahead of yourself, I said don't run ahead of yourself. I mean it from experience, from premium experience. Guys, don't run ahead of yourself. I know it's not easy. Like sometimes you just meet a guy and it's just exactly what you've been praying for. You're like, this is my boss, I'm your Esther to Chicolenera. Nah. Like until it is what it is. Don't run ahead of yourself. And just live, and it's not easy. But try to live in the moment and try to just enjoy the moment. And like when you're going out on dates with men or with, you know, potential partners, don't let them be like, don't be like on, how do I say, like an audition, yeah, don't audition. Just try to be in the moment. Assume you're meeting a new friend, and just enjoy it. Like if it goes ahead, well and good. If it doesn't, you met a new friend, you had a nice meal, you dressed up, you looked pretty, like, you know, you explored a new restaurant. Like just live in the moment. Don't run ahead of yourself, because honestly, premium pain, premium tears, premium heartache for nothing, you know, for nothing. So yeah, like just calm yourself down until a man says, can we be exclusive? You are not. Okay? So, sister, don't. And then the seventh is deal with your pain and your shame points. This one I talk about a lot. I'm dealing with my own in therapy. Like, deal with your pain and your shame points. We all have them. There's no one who's perfect. There's no miss, no it all. We all have them. We all carry shame points. We all carry pain. We all, you know, at one point or another. So just deal with it. Deal with it, and don't deal with it to get a partner. Deal with it for you. You know, so deal with it for you to be a better human being, to be a better lover, to love yourself more. So because I think then for me, I find that if you deal with your pain, or if you know where your pain points are, where your shame points are, you'll break some of the patterns that you have been, you know, going through all the time. And also it will just liberate you and help you to be a better person, to step into your destiny more, and to just live the life that God really set and called you to live. So deal with your pain points. Don't do it because you want to marry a man or for anything. Just do it for you. Because I mean, you owe that to yourself, you know. And then the last one is, guys, take the risk. Honestly, dating in your 30s is risky, like crossing the road, jumping on a plane. Like, it's very risky. Love is uncertain. Love is we don't know. Like, you know, sometimes people say, like, you know, if there's all these manuals, how to meet the right man, how to know he's the one, how to is water under the bridge. Just live in the moment and take the risk. Like, if a man asks you on a date and you want to go and see what it's all about. And if you don't like him, say thank you so much, I had a good time, but I won't be seeing you again. Move on. You know, like, don't take it too seriously. Like, Tom, you know, so don't feel like you owe him anything because he bought you a nice meal. You can buy it for yourself anyway. So take the risk. I feel like sometimes after, like, you've dated and you've gone through so many talking stages, you're like, for how long will I talk? For how long? No, it's a risk, you know. It's a risk, and it's worth it, because along the way you'll make some friends, you'll make connections, you'll meet people that may stay friends for long or not. But just take the risk, take the plunge. If your mother is connected to a man, go. Like, you know, so don't. And also sometimes it's some people come in your life and they just remind you of what it feels like, just remind you of how it feels like to be adored, to be pampered, to be with a partner who is attentive. So, and that's something that I have to remind myself all the time, because sometimes I am a busybody. So me, I'm doing so many things. So, like, for me to stop for a man, I'm like, Positively, what is it? But you know, like I have to be conscious. And look, we are dating in our 30s, and you want a partner, and you're open about it. You're not ashamed about it. You're not embarrassed. It's okay. That desire is godly. It's real. So now let's be intentional about it. So yeah, like don't. I feel like don't stigmatize yourself for wanting to be in a relationship in your 30s. It's okay. It's perfectly okay. You know, and there is no harm. No one expects you to just sort of have swept that desire under the carpet and move on. It's fine. Like just step into it, own it, and just be fabulous. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know down below what points stand out for you, and add more on the list. Like what, if you're in your 30s and you're dating, what are some of the things that you feel we should do in our 30s, we should look out for, and just enjoy, like, you know, just wear that fabulous dress, put on that fabulous makeup, that lipstick, wear that nice shoe, carry that bag, go out, drink that champagne, eat the nice food, and have a good time. Like, you know, don't take it too seriously, guys. It's not that serious. The man will come when he comes, okay? Enjoy the moment, okay? Remember